But to bring that to life even more, I'd like to invite our first guest speaker, who is India, who's coming on from the Royal Highland Show in Edinburgh as well. So just before India comes on and we start just asking a little bit about this case study and the launch of these puddings, just India's the marketing manager to introduce her at Strathmore Foods. So Strathmore, as I said, is the largest ready meal manufacturer in Scotland. So mainly looking after Macintosh of Strathmore as a brand, and the business premium range, Findowie Farmhouse. India's role encompasses both ensuring the mental and physical availability of these brands and working with the MPD team to create great products and activations. India's work with the team includes the incredibly successful Burns box, which saw Macintosh featured on This Morning in 2021, and Macintosh's most recent and equally successful product launch into the chilled pudding category, with 3 steamed pudding flavours, including Scottish ingredients in partnership with Mrs. Tilley's and Mackay's Preserves. India has also been shortlisted for the Marketing Society's Rising Marketing Star 2022 award, along with the 2021 Macintosh brand campaign Ping, which also received shortlists in 2 categories. So, India, welcome. Great to have you here. Are you there, firstly?
Hi, Mark. Yes, I am here.
Great stuff. Good stuff. Okay, India, great to have you on board. I thought it'd be great just to, rather than present lots of slides as we talked about, just to ask you some questions about, because what we're trying to do here is really bring to life actually the role of data and insight when launching MPD. And you recently obviously launched this range of puddings. So to provide, just take a step back and give us some context. What was the reason for launching into puddings in the first place?
So when we first sort of looked into launching puddings, where we were really looking to go is where could we take a brand extension for Macintosh that wouldn't cannibalise the range that we've already got.
Yeah.
And puddings were just the natural step for us to take. We make chilled products already, so it seemed like the most logical step to take to go into chilled puddings. And then that's what we needed you guys for, to see if that would actually be viable.
And then if we just come on to the approach you took, so obviously you went through a series of, it's actually similar to So Did Seafoods with the approach they took with M&S, but starting off with a workshop, then validating the proposition, and ultimately getting that range in the store. But can you just talk through the approach you took, and also not just that, but who was involved from the team?
Yeah, of course. So when we looked at the pudding project, we kind of involved a broad range of people from our team. So our managing director was involved, the sales team, the marketing team, the MPD team, and also some of our production team sort of chipped in where it was relevant for them to chip in. So we really made sure that it was a team effort and everybody kind of got involved right from the start.
Yeah.
And our process, we really just started with some assumptions that we had. We were like, oh, well, we think puddings might work. This is what we think about the category. This is what we think about our consumer. And we just really started from the beginning. What do we think? What do we think the consumer wants? And how can we validate that to see if it's true and would work for a product in the market? Yeah.
That's also a good place to start. And so how important was the consumer insight you gathered during the development of the product concept? Because it's important, because you say one thing, so you start with your assumptions and gut feel, which is fine, but actually, how important was it to marry up the actual insight from the target audience?
Oh, incredibly important, because you realise when you go through these things that you have some assumptions that aren't true. So incredibly important for us. It validated things we needed to validate. And it also helped us narrow down things that we needed to not be thinking about. It's also invaluable when you're pitching it to retailers because you've got sort of cold hard evidence that this will do well and it's worth the shelf space. Yeah.
And building on that further, what were some of the kind of the key learnings that helped shape the final product and support that selling story?
So one of the things that was actually really interesting for us is we had originally looked at building this product as a single serve. So just one pot of pudding, because when you look at the category, they're all in pairs. And for us, we're like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe people would be interested in a single pudding. And that is really where we'd started off, like with that journey. And when we did the research, we very quickly realised that there are no single serve puddings because nobody wants them. everybody looks for a double and they want a twin pack, and that's why they are all twin packs.
Yeah.
So if we hadn't have done that piece of research, we could have ended up with something that would not have gone down as well as what we have.
Okay, it's good. Yeah, it's good to know. Anything else that jumped out at you as well in terms of just direction of travel and tweaking?
I could also tell you about the flavors.
So again, no, I guess that comes to the next question. So firstly, if you look at you've done a really good job. Obviously, you're in store now. You're in certain retailers. Just looking at the brand activation on social media here, some examples. Some great engagement with your followers just on social media. This is obviously just Facebook, but you're Instagram and lots of other channels as well. But so firstly, how is the range performing?
The range is performing really, really well, much better than we expected it to perform. The flavours are selling really well. Our customers really love them.
Yeah.
We get a lot of interaction from our customers actually who come back and tell us like how good they are, which is nice.
Yeah.
And it's we have more listings for this coming out soon, so it's really grown arms and legs.
Yeah. And guys, please feel free to ask any questions for India as well.
Yeah.
So it's not just myself asking India questions. This is your chance to ask India questions as well. And I just saw in the chat that you put 2 minutes, Mark, and just running across the field. So I didn't see that. So good on you for coming on to this without actually being out of breath.
I was
yourself a good fettle.
Yes, I made it.
You made it, exactly. But in terms of the insight, is there anything that you would have done differently if you'd listened to the insight a bit more?
Yeah, definitely. So when we did our insight program, we asked customers what flavors they wanted.
Yeah.
And we asked them to rank them out of a selection. And when we were actually doing the NPD development of the flavors, the one that we have actually launched, which is chocolate orange, was one that the team internally really, really loved. So we kind of ignored the research a little bit and said, oh, we'll launch this one because everybody loves it.
Yeah.
And it hasn't done as well as the other two flavors that are out. And we were like, oh, I wonder why, because it's so good and we all love it. And then we went back to the research that we did and had a look at all the flavors, and it was second last on the list of what people wanted. And it was like, yes, always listen to the research. Yeah,
no, we do experience that time and time again. So no, good on you for sharing that story as well, because it's I guess when you do insights, so important to listen to kind of what's and all, what are the things that you maybe don't want to hear, versus actually what supports your intuition anyway.
Yes, definitely, and it can be hard sometimes to go against your gut instinct if that's not what you're thinking, but definitely worth going with the research.
Yeah. So obviously the range is out there; it's available for everyone to buy and enjoy. Just the kind of final question from me, but what impact did it have? What's impact has it had on the team ongoing?
A really positive sort of impact from us. I think it really sparks sort of new creativity within the team and a lot of excitement to sort of launch new MPD and sort of really know that it's going to be successful.
Yeah.
So it's been really, really good. It's been, we've gotten some good things off the back of it. Better processes internally as well for MPD.
Great. Good stuff.
Helps.
Perfect. No other questions at the moment. So let India, just to keep on time as well. I hope you have a great time with the Highland show today. We're there tomorrow, so hopefully we'll see you there if you're around.
Yeah.
But thanks a lot.
Puddings.
What's that?
We're sampling puddings. So
great. Oh, God, I don't know if I'll try the chocolate orange, but I'll definitely try the sticky tablet.
Excellent.